Thank you for joining us. Very excited today. We have the one, the only, the Brenna O'Brien. Oh, it's going to be a good one.
Hello there, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. This is so great to have you on like this, being able to chat.
Yeah.
I know. For you, you're just like, I'm cool. No big deal. So the biggest reason we wanted to chat with you is obviously you are someone who has been fairly successful so far in the sport of snowboard cross. We're going to go through a couple of your past achievements. April 5th, 2017, you qualified to compete in your first U15 nationals for border cross. It was in Mont Tremblant. What was that like?
It was crazy. It was very intimidating, especially too, to see all the older girls like racing there because I was pretty young. So
Yeah, 12, right? And you finished that event actually in sixth,
yeah.
which is pretty neat, pretty cool to go to something and finish. So in border cross, obviously, for those who don't know, we have our big finals or small finals. So you were in the top 8. You had a very close possibility of making it to the top 4, but finishing sixth in your first border cross at 12 years old. Holy.
Yeah.
Um, you know, from that nationals, was there anything that went on that you thought to yourself, oh yeah, like this is something I want to keep doing?
Yeah, well, that was like the biggest course I've ever been on at that time, and I thought it was like super fun. Like I loved how fast it was and everything too. So I
Yeah,
definitely was looking forward to like more big courses like that.
sweet. So that just gave you the edge to say, no, no, I need more of this. This is
Yeah.
what we're going for.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that. And it was in Mont Tremblant, which was kind of
Yeah.
cool. So, you didn't have to go too far from us where we live in Ontario, right?
Mhm.
Which was nice. So that's pretty sweet. So a year from that, we're moving forward one full year. It's now March 26, 2018. You qualified again. And is that your dog in the background?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, there he is. Look at
Came
that.
down to say hi.
Oh, well, you know what? I think everybody needs to have a dog in their interview. So that is perfect. This is awesome. And what's your dog's name so everyone can know?
This is Emmett.
Emmett. Well, hi, Emmett. It's nice to see you as well, my friend. What was it like to be in Big White for snowboarding in general?
It was crazy. Like the powder there was so nice. There's so much snow there. It was so much fun to just ride the glades with everyone. And
Totally.
I remember like going in the back, like in the not in the back, like in the glades, and like got lost in there because we went past the boundary sign, which we didn't see. And it was like we had to hike out, but it was so much fun. So much
Got it.
powder.
So note to self, you didn't see the boundary sign. That's the only reason you went out of bounds, right?
Yes.
So that same year, you went to nationals as a team of 15 athletes from multiple clubs in Ontario, and you got to train and compete as an Ontario team.
To have all the Ontario people there, it definitely was a lot of fun because I got to like meet all of them because I didn't really talk to them before at the other races. So it was definitely fun to hang out with them. And it was great to like be at the top of the race with all of them and like we're all supporting each other and I thought that was a lot of fun.
That's cool. That's really cool. I like that. That same year, you went on and finished first.
Yeah.
You were the champion for U15 SBX Nationals. Um, I mean, what are the feelings that go through your head when you're finishing the race and you realize you're now the champion, number one in Canada?
Yeah, well, I crossed the finish line. I literally looked back and I asked the other girl because it was like super close between us and I was like, did I get that or did you? Like I was like confused. I was like, whoa, like I just won nationals. It's crazy.
One of the girls that was in that heat with you was Bridget from Nova
Yeah.
Scotia. Uh, Bridget was the champion from the year before.
Yeah, she was.
And so you finished, you've now beaten someone who, in your mind, just the year before, you probably looked at Bridget as someone who was just like, man, if I could only just be
Yeah.
something close to that. So was there anything that went through your head knowing that you had just achieved not only one, but also been able to achieve by beating someone who last year was the champion?
Well, yeah, I was like really happy about that because I was talking to her at the top and I was like, oh, like how'd you do last year? And she told me she had won. So I was like, all freaked out. I was like, whoa, okay. I see you. But
Oh yeah, 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 okay.
and then I passed her and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then just like time to pass the next one.
That's right. Now,
Yeah.
so as you say that, do you remember how that race went? Because I know that race, Big White's track was longer than Mont Tremblant's, right?
Yeah, it was really long.
The snow was obviously phenomenal.
Yeah.
What was it for you when you started? How did that last race go for you? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, so I pulled out of the gate and like off the bat I was in third going down. So like already I was like super happy to be in third. And then as I started going down, I just started picking up more speed throughout the course. And then so I passed Bridget and then I almost passed the girl in the last berm, but like couldn't quite get it. So in the last like couple jumps and rollers, I was just gaining more speed and I got her. So it's very
Wow.
exciting. Yeah.
We go forward one more year. It's now March 30th, 2019. With all the athletes now looking at you, because you're now the champion. You're now the one they want to be.
Yeah.
What's going through your head?
I was definitely nervous because obviously I wanted to win, like to win once. Like I definitely wanted to go back out there and just get on the top again.
Yeah.
But I was also like, I was excited. The course was definitely bigger than the year before, something I hadn't really done before. I also remember like I was super tired that last year as well going into the race, but I still finished second, so that was exciting.
You did finish second. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. That's right. And one thing I was going to say is that for you, there was probably one day that was probably more challenging than others when you said the course was different. It was probably the training day.
Yeah.
Do you remember that training day, and do you remember some of the things you had to overcome to try to then place second the next day?
Well, I think sleep was one thing, like to play second the next day. I went to bed so early that night.
All
Um,
right.
but I think I was also just like stressed out because the course was big. Like I wasn't hitting the features like I wanted to, like wasn't doing it as smooth as I was hoping to, but got over that and just pushed hard the next day.
Totally. Do you find that there are moments in the sport of snowboarding and just in life that you have those frustrating times? You're like, man, like you're knocking yourself down?
Yeah, definitely. Like life is not going to go your way all the time.
Totally. Is there a few things that you have that you use to try to, I mean, obviously you said you had sleep, which helped you out in this case, but
Yeah.
is there any other things that you use? Because you're obviously not the only athlete to have challenges in any
Hmm.
sport that you use to
Yeah.
try and push yourself to that next level and overcome those frustrating moments.
Definitely this season, like I just tried to stay as positive as possible going into every race and like I found that being like excited and just like having fun was definitely like it resolves in like good outcomes for the race.
We're going to move forward to this year, right? So it's 2020. You're no longer a U15 athlete, right? You're now
Yeah.
able to get your FIS license and compete in FIS events. So your first event you enter into is Craig Leith, and you finish first. What's it like now you've finished first before. This is not new to
Yeah.
someone who's been the national champion, but
Yeah.
to win on a different scale, to win in a scenario where you're not earning FIS points, then now can achieve other things. What's it like to finish first at that race?
It was cool. Like I finished with 55th points, so that was definitely exciting. I remember that race a lot because I pulled out and I was in second, and then to pass, I like flew in the air and like just I just like passed Olivia right there on the berm, and I was like, whoa, okay. But yeah, it was definitely a fun race, very intense, but it's cool to walk out of there with 55th points at my first fifth race.
From there, I mean, you move on to your next major event, and that's Martok. What's it like to be in another province now, competing against a whole bunch of other athletes that you're not competing against normally? And it's, even though it's not nationals, it's still a big scale. It's this event.
It was cool, and I think it was more of a challenge to race them too, because like I wasn't aware of like how they actually ride, but the girls in Ontario, like I kind of know how they ride and stuff. But I got to race Bridget again, which was lots of fun, and Casey from Alberta, which is cool too. Like just racing
Totally.
different girls was definitely a lot of fun, and there were more of them out there too, so it was more of a challenge. I find when there's a lack of girls, it's like it's not as fun and like even if I won the race where there weren't that many girls, it's not as rewarding as it is winning against more than just like 4 girls.
Totally.
So yeah.
And was that a big benefit to being in Nova Scotia for that race, being able to race against those others individuals?
Yeah, it definitely pushed me a lot more.
That's awesome. That's
Mhm.
awesome. The cool thing I think is neat to note is that so you had a race on the Saturday and the Sunday,
Yeah.
and for both races, the big finals was the same 4 ladies, Bridget, Olivia, Casey, and yourself, as it was in when you won the
Yeah.
2017 U15 Nationals. What was it like to just, even though you didn't realize it right away, but what's it like to race them again in a final heat and just having to compete?
Yeah, it was really cool actually. And like I think once we all realized, we were all like, whoa, like we're all back in the gate together again. And it was cool because to see how much everyone else had like improved from when we all raced together in Big White.
When you raced the first day, you finished in 4th.
Mhm.
And a big reason for that is you just went all out. You weren't going
Yeah.
to stop. I think you did what we call the silly salmon in the air. Is
Silly
that correct?
salmon, yes.
The silly salmon. How do you overcome something like that when you obviously know that their potential is there to come into the next day and then finish first, which you did?
Yeah, I think I definitely learned a lot about falling this year and just instead of like getting myself down about it, I more looked for the experience of it and just to know what to do better the next day.
The morning of your Sunday race, you put your foot in your snowboard boots, and what happens?
The laces like completely broke.
So
Yeah.
you just had a scenario on Saturday. You didn't quite, achieve what you were hoping to achieve or what you knew you could. Because on Saturday you had the fastest time trial. So
Yeah.
logically they could say that you should have won, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, border cross is the best sport because it's not always a guarantee, which is what I think you love about the sport as
Yeah,
much as I do.
definitely.
So you wake up the next morning, you're like, okay, I'm getting in the game, I'm ready to go. You put your foot in the boot, the laces break. Mentally, what's going through your head?
Well, first I was like, what the hell just happened? Like, why did it break just now? And then I was like, should have listened to the parents when they told me to get new boots.
That's awesome.
And then I was like, oh, well, this sucks, but it'll be fine. And Megan came through with her like skills with her little pencil. She fixed the boot up. So
Yeah,
first
Coach
I
Megan,
was like,
she's pretty impressive in that way. Keep
oh
going.
yeah. So I was mad, but then I got on the T-bar, got to the top, and I was like, my boot's fine. It's on my foot. I'm all good. So just kept on riding like it didn't even happen.
Totally. And what was so great about that day is you still finished first in time trials overall.
Yeah.
And then you knew exactly what you needed to do and you kept through and you won the race. So, I know for myself, I got to see you achieve what I knew you should have been able to achieve the day before, but it was so amazing to know you got to overcome something where, I had seen in the past where that might have really not been, you weren't able to flip that switch as quickly as you did.
Definitely, yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. We move forward to your first NORAM, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's at Beaver Valley. So one benefit to being at Beaver Valley, that's your home club, correct?
Yeah. It was really cool to have it there. Like we had the gate that we always train on in there too, like in the snow. So that was definitely fun to know, like, because our handles are like generally wider than like all the other handles that are in gates. So
yeah,
like we already knew. I don't know. It just felt comfortable to be in that gate. And yeah, it was nice to have it at Beaver.
So you show up on training day and you see that they've decided to add in something that we haven't seen before in the competition scale, and that's a good 4-foot drop in, kind of a miniaturized Olympic style, that into your first feature. What goes through your head when you see something that you've never seen before, right? Because this is what happens in border cross. It's not as if every course is the same. There's always differences. And as an athlete, you just have to kind of show up at that training and go, okay.
Yeah.
So how do you handle something that's different? What goes through your head?
I think you just gotta go for it mostly. Like that's what I did really. I remember like I went right after Olivia, and Olivia's first pull, she like ate it out of the gate. And she was like laughing about it. And then I go in the gate. I look beside me, and this girl that's like clearly been racing NORAMs for a long time. And I was like, how do I do this? And she's like, just gotta pull hard and go for it. So that's exactly what I did. And I made it through it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like it was so much fun to be on. Like a start section like that. It was super technical and crazy.
And in that same event, you got to race against individuals from Australia,
Hmm.
Japan, United States, and Canada.
Yeah.
So you're there, you're up against some phenomenal female riders, not just what's in Canada, but what's in international.
Hmm.
Is there something different that goes through your head when you see that happen?
I think what I mostly was thinking is how like cool it was to be able to learn from them and see how they were hitting features compared to how I was hitting them, because they were obviously like much older than I was. And I also like I've never raced people who are like that much like faster than me and just like more experienced than me. So it was definitely really fun to race them and learn from them.
And you ended up doing fairly well for your
Hmm.
first NORAM. The
Yeah.
first day you were qualified top 12 and you finished 14th. But the
Hmm.
second day you finished 12th overall.
Yeah.
What's going through your head as you're starting to catch these females that had times that were a little bit faster than yours and you're getting really close to them?
Yeah. Well, the first day when I pulled out, I like just hit the flat of the drop like so hard, made a divot in the snow, like flew out of the course, came back in over the first feature, and then I like was caught up to the girl that was in third by the first berm. I passed her near the bottom and was like so close to passing the girl in second too, so I could have moved on. But then I was just so ecstatic, I forgot to even like absorb the jump basically and just like hit the ground. And I remember crossing the finish line. I was like, that looks sick at least, like me falling.
Did it at least look good? Someone get it on camera. Show me the photos.
Yeah.
I like that. Beginning of the season, you had a goal. One of the phenomenal riders that we have in Ontario.
Hmm.
You were hoping that you'd be able to, maybe catch up to her.
Yeah, well, I've always looked up to Carrie. Like, I think she's such a great rider. So when I started to challenge her, like, I've never really gotten the chance to like fully challenge someone like that. So then when I passed her, I hit the stubby of the gate, so I wiped out. But I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, I just passed Carrie, the person I've been looking up to ever since I started border cross. So it was really cool to do that.
How important in this sport is it to have people to look up to and try to challenge yourself to get to the level they're at or challenge against them?
I think it's really important to have people to look up to, because it definitely like it motivates you and drives you to like do better and just like be better.
For sure, totally. So we've got a few questions of people who kind of had that we just wanted to kind of ask you. So one of them is, what motivates yourself to keep working out and preparing for next season in the future?
I think the biggest thing that motivates me to work out is I want to make it to the Olympics, and I think to do that, dryland training is like super important and is like almost as important as on snow training. And I want to like be out on the top. I want to be one of the top riders in Canada. So that
So
really motivates me.
when you put that out there and you says you motivate you, what exactly are you doing?
I've been working out like usually twice a day, and I'll train cardio, and then I'll do like some strength training. So I've been going for runs, and I don't love running, but it's definitely helped, and like I can run 8K now, and I've been biking a little bit too, so that's fun.
You started with not many females on the team with yourself. For a
Yeah.
long time, you were one of two females or the only female on the team. There's now a lot more that that you've been able to have on the team. What's it like
Yeah.
to have that opposed to, a team where it's just yourself?
I think it was like I remember when Olivia joined the team, because she was like with Jason. So Olivia and Ella came to our team, and I was like, whoa, like more girls in the sport now. This is awesome. And now like Olivia, Ella, and Lauren, like they're some of my best friends. So I think it's really important to have like friends in the sport, whether they're girls or boys. But I also was happy to have like more girls on the team that I could actually like relate to more, I guess.
It is hard, right? It is
Yeah.
a lot of times where we'll go to an event and there may only be 5 females competing. Well, at the
Hmm.
other end, there's 25 males competing.
Yeah.
How important is competition?
I think it's very important, and I think when there's more girls to race against, I work harder and I push myself more. especially when I don't completely know them and know that like I can beat them. But yeah, I think competition is really important.
Do you ever get nervous before your race?
Um, yes, I do, but then the minute I'm in the gate and the judge starts saying like riders ready, like the nerves are completely gone and I'm just ready to go.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
so great. So are you someone who prefers to be in the zone prior to being in the gate? Or do you want to be, are you chatting with your friends? How are you handling that time? Because there's a lot of downtime in boardercross. As much
Oh
fun
yeah.
as it is to race, it sometimes takes way longer than we all want it to keep
Yeah.
moving through the heat. So how do you handle that downtime?
Um, we literally like sing and dance basically at the top of the hill. Like I remember being at a race one time. It was like provincials or something. It was a long time ago, and like the race was so delayed. Like everyone at the top just like broke into like a full on snowball fight. And I was like, okay, this is cool.
Brenna, if there's anything you could say to someone who's debating whether they may or may not want to try snowboard cross, specifically the girls out there who may be watching this and may not, what would you say to them when it comes to our sport?
um, I'd say you'll meet like cool people in this sport. You'll meet your best friends maybe. I think like if you want motivation, like this is the sport to be in because it motivates you to just do better and like it motivates you to if I don't know, it makes you feel strong too, like racing beside other girls, like boards are like hitting each other. It's a lot of fun.
Do you have any brands that you enjoy that have helped you out with either pro deals or sponsorships that you would want to give a shout out to before we end this?
Burton, of course.
Gotta love Burden. I'm wearing my little Burden shirt as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. And I love Patagonia. Unfortunately, I don't
Patag-
have a sponsor, but I love Patagonia.
All right. Well, anyone who knows Patagonia out there, let's start hooking this next Olympic athlete
Woo!
up, right? We got to do
Yeah.
that. Man. Well, Brenna, it's obviously we know each other well because you're a team rider for mixed movements. We enjoy
Yeah.
having you on it. We work hard to make sure you can get to the next level. How amazing was that, right? Brenna O'Brien, I promise you, she will be someone who is going to make it to the Olympics. She's working every day to make it there. Again, she loves Burden and she likes Patagonia. So somebody, if you got some pro deals, you got some hookups, let's hook this new athlete up and they could really use the love. So stay tuned, everyone. We love having you all. You're the best. Peace.